What is up, you guys? Orlando here with Elisha Record Studio. Just wanted to show you a really quick tip to control the high frequencies on a loop. But before we jump into the tutorial, remember, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any other video from us. So what I did here, just to show you this example, is to grab a couple loops. They're from Cymatics. So let's take a listen to this without anything on it. What I did was to add fresh air to it, because before those drums were sounding like this. This plugin brings out a little bit more of what I'm looking for in that type of loops, giving it that hype. The problem is that it's actually going way overboard with the hi-hats, but I didn't want to temper with this because I like the sound I'm getting, but I want to control afterwards. In that scenario, because it's a loop, how do you control the highs? In this case, Pro Q3 is a classic, and you can turn any band into a dynamic band. As you can see here, I made a band, and the shape is actually a high shelf. If you clear the dynamic, it's going to be like this. If you add a shelf, right? But if you add the dynamics to it, just make it dynamic and just grab this little thing and pull it up or down depending on what you want to do. In this case, I'm going to pull it down and about 6 dBs because this was going crazy with the high. So take a look. It's like way up there. So I need to control that. And this is a great way to do it. Let's take a listen to this. As you can see, it's controlling a little bit more of the highs, and it's making it more even. It's making it more pleasant, right? Alongside with the other drop sound. Makes more space for whatever else is happening. If you have extra high synth sounds and things that you want to pop out a little bit more, you just control the heights on the side of the drums, the hi-hat specifically, and that can give you a little bit more margin there for the rest of the instrument to shine a little bit more. What happens if you don't have this EQ, which I didn't have until not so long ago, because I didn't really need it, and I see why it's cool and why everyone uses it. Of course, I ended up getting it, but you don't really need it. So I'm gonna show you a free one, and it's the one that comes with Cubase. It's Frequency 2, and you can turn any of these bands into a dynamic band just by clicking that little here, dynamics. Here you can control the threshold and all the parameters, so that's what I did, and I ended up with these settings for this specific loop. This EQ works really, really well. And I'm going to switch between these two so you can hear the difference. It's really hard to pick and choose, but as you can see, you're sleeping on stock plugins sometimes, because stock plugins can be really, really powerful if you know how to use them. Then I was thinking, you can do this too with a multi-band compressor, pretty much. And in this case, this is something cool I saw Streaky do for EDM specifically. He was explaining this trick, and it's done with the Pro MB. What he does is select a band here. You just click on it. The next step is go to the expert mode, and here you are going to select free. And when you select free, this little thing pops out, and what you can do is just squeeze that in and pull it into the low end. So it's kind of an internal sidechain thing. So here's the sidechain functionality, right? So it's a free and it's internal. And the way it works is that within this same loop, you have kick, you have all the other drums going on. So what's going to do is that when the kick hits, this is gonna dock. So it's an internal sidechain within Pro MB. And this is how it sounds like. This I found is the more dynamic way to think about it, and the way that I like the most, because it's not just simply controlling the highs, it's controlling the highs where the kick is hitting. And that creates kind of a bounce. You can use this trick with a whole track also for EDM, and it will sound amazing because it will dock the high ends of the whole track. And as soon as the kick hits, you're gonna hear that a little bit more. And I'm exaggerating also here, guys, so you can actually hear the effect. If you want to control just a tiny little bit, just pull the threshold depending on what you want, and also the range here. That leads me to this little plugin that is absolutely free. This is called Acceleration 2, and it's only 2 parameters. Pretty much the limit, it's gonna limit the high frequencies, and the dry and wet, it's gonna give you that mix and balance between the two things. So I want you to listen before. Is taking off the edge out of the hi-hats, and it's making it a little bit more pleasant, and can leave the high end pretty much there present that you can still notice, but it's not that harsh and that stringent. They're just simple controls because that's the point. The point is that you need to hear the music, not so much watch what's going on, but use your ears instead. And this, I found, is a super pleasant sound, especially for removing annoying frequencies in the high end. This is one of my go-to plugins sometimes to remove that edge of some of these sounds. And that's all for today's tutorial. Hope you guys enjoy it, and until next one, don't stress, do your best, be blessed, forget the rest. See you around.